Reed, we were ready for you.
Am I up?
Yeah, just in time.
No decisions made.
No decisions made, I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't think I've silenced this guy yet. There we go. Just a couple of things. An update on our monitor situation that I hinted about last time. We did get our one back from Philips in the meantime, which was good. In talking to the rep, it sounds like they're still on hold. There's no new monitors being shipped out from this company, and they think they're going to scrap this model and completely redesign it. So, I'm not interested in buying, well, right now I can't even buy more of the same manufacturer's model. So we're looking at, we've tested 2 other ones, and we're looking to go that route. There's going to be a big money difference, about $10,000 per monitor different. There's 3 manufacturers, Physio Control, who is now Stryker, and Zoll, who we have currently, and then Philips is the one that we bought last year. And the Philips monitor is about $10,000 cheaper, and was one of the reasons why we went with that. Was getting excited, talked to the rep, found that on trade-in it's worth about $4,000, and we paid $22,000 for it. So wasn't too excited about that, but I did find another EMS service that would be interested in buying it for us. They have 9 of them, and they have 10 ambulances, so they're short one. But since the manufacturer's not selling anymore, they can't get one, so they were really excited. We worked out a price, $18,000 instead of $4,000, so I was kind of excited about that. Checked with the state. Since it's a grant, we have to keep it for 5 years.
And it's only 1 year old now.
And it's only 1 year old. So,
What if it breaks down?
well, part of the grant is we have to maintain it.
Well, yeah, but if the company's going out of business or whatever, quits manufacturing, now you're going to get it.
Well, they say they'll still honor their warranties. Well, we'll see. I mean, it was in the shop for, 4 or 5 months before. So we're going to take that monitor, since we have to keep it around, and probably put it onto our 2nd ambulance in Bird City. That one hardly leaves the station. And then
It'll work when you need it.
Right, yeah, I bet.
move forward. We got that grant again this year. We also have it in the budget for another monitor. So we'll put monitors in the St. Francis main ambulance and the Bird City main ambulance. And like I said, we're still trying to decide who's to go with. I think we're looking probably towards the Stryker Physio Control ones. They're a lot simpler, and with a volunteer service, I really like simple. And they do just as good a job. Like I said, there is about a $10,000 difference in the price. One of the benefits, I guess, with going with the Physio Control, which is now Stryker, we're already into a financial agreement with Stryker. They are financing our gurneys and our power load system. I think that's a 5-year thing. These monitors can go under that same Flex Financial if we want to. And I guess I'm not real excited about financing these things, but for the short term, possibly, and here's where I'm coming from. Personnel with EMS is extremely hard to budget. I mean, right now because of shift bid. We don't know if it's going to be $0 a month or $5,000 a month. So I'm really leery this year about where we're going to end up with personnel. So I really don't want to push the budget at this point hard to get these monitors in. However, for the grant, I've got to purchase by June 15th. So my thought is this: if we would do at least part of it through Flex Financial, then at the end of the year, whatever's left over in the money, or what's left over in our budget, it can just go to that. So let's say there's an extra $5,000 left over. We could make a $5,000 payment to Flex Financial, but it would give us a little bit of cushion here since we really don't know on personnel. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'll bring you formal prices and all that kind of stuff at the next meeting, and then we'll need to decide.
Before June 1.
Well, before June 15th is when I've got to have it ordered. So
What is Flex Financial's interest rate?
I'll find that out. I think it changes with each purchase. They gave us a deal last time, and we'll see if we get that same deal, but it was pretty good. But I'll get all that to you.
And this monitor is for, specifically for your new ambulance one. I'm a little confused there.
Yeah, it was destined to be replaced anyway. So the new ambulance, the old ambulance, it was going to be a new monitor in it.
Okay.
So it just coincides with that. Now the other thing we can do, if we want to be extremely cautious, is we only buy one monitor this year. And we buy the one monitor that was with the grant program. So we satisfy the grant requirement, and we don't spend the money out of our budget for the Bird City one.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea. That'll give you a year to evaluate this thing and see if it's something that you really like and really want. Because I don't want to get stuck with two lemons when one would be plenty, if that would happen.
Yeah, I know this is unheard of in the industry, but it happened. So anyway, I'll formally present those next time. Just wanted to give you a heads up. And the only other thing is, has anyone heard from Dolores on the new ambulance funds?
I did.
Awesome.
She called me last night.
And yeah, this, Justine can come on up here too.
Please.
This leads into her discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Justine Benoit with the Northwest Kansas Planning Development Commission. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay. So I know some of you are new in here. We applied for a grant over 2 years ago, and we received it for Cheyenne County to receive an ambulance. So the state came up with a budget. Right here, and I'll pass that along. They said they would give us $116,376 if we matched $85,000 to receive a new ambulance. Now this is for the ambulance, it's portioned up here, and then my administration fees, which help do all the paperwork, do the bidding process, and get the ambulance here in this drawdown. So if you want to look at that, I know in the past there was concern about the budget after we already did this. However, in the state's eyes, I mean, we already started the bid process. We have the ambulance ready. I'm here to present a drawdown for you guys today. So, I mean, I have signatures from the last commissioners that said they're ready for this. However, I know that your budget's kind of...
That's the only thing they left out is where this money was supposed to come out of. Mm-hmm. I talked to Dolores last night. She indicated we could how much money is left in your budget
From last year,
from 2016?
just shy of 60,000.
That's what I thought. It's 58,000.
That sounds right, yeah.
So if we could use that budget and then draw the rest out of the county general to cover this $85,000.
I thought the way we discussed this last year was it was supposed to be the carryover from last year, plus in his capital outlay for this, for equipment expense. Wasn't that right?
Well, and then there's 15,000 from the year before that was carried over for it.
Right.
So I
But mean,
should have
what's
75.
the carryover? I mean, that should have went into your equipment expense from this year to cover the difference from what you got.
Should
what you
have,
need.
should have, yeah.
That's the way I understood it.
But what I understand is none of those funds we really know until we have an audit.
I think that's correct.
And it's like, We have to spend it before we have an audit.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion here. Even Dolores was a wee bit confused. She didn't really see the problem of doing the drawdown out of the general fund.
That's what the general fund is there for, really. And then, I mean, it can all get worked out. I think part of the problem has been in the past, there hasn't been a good keeping track of things that need to be accounted for at budgeting time. Does that make sense? I know we've run into this recently where it's like we could make a decision now or we could wait and do it. And there's been a lot of like, well, we'll make a decision here, but we didn't make a note to make sure we actually account for that decision during budget process. And I think maybe that's been part of the problem, and then ensuring that there's a tracking process in place over at the treasurer's office to ensure money is actually going where it needs to go. But that's what the general fund is there for, and then the audit goes through and the money's there, then
We're all happy.
yeah.
Can we take the entire amount out of the general fund and then transfer can you transfer back to the general fund from the EMS?
Yeah, because we're in the general fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think
It should be
It's a
pretty
general
easy.
fund.
And one of the things that we've been trying to do with transfers in the last year is essentially the rule is you can move money back to wherever it was before. So we've been trying to transfer, anytime we're doing transfers, we've been trying to go through the general fund before we do the transfer, so that way if we need to move the money back, we can legally do so. I'm not saying we've done it right every single time, but we've tried to do that because that's the general rule is you can, if you're going to transfer money back, you can transfer it back to the fund that it originally came from.
Okay, so if we take the $58,000 that he had left from the 2016 budget, and then we'll make up the difference from the general fund, and what would that, where's your calculator?
And you said you had 15 the year before that was carried over?
I think the total was 13 something.
And
So
that
add
should have
that
already
in
been
there.
approved in the previous audit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Well,
have.
you had 16 and 60, and then you gotta have 85, you're looking at basically, $7,000, $8,000.
10, yeah.
Is nothing, or not nothing, but
Well,
a
if we don't do another monitor, it gets, that can cover that. I think I will have, depending on personnel, if we stay within our budget, I should have that too. I'm not concerned about not having the money, it's just from all these different sources. Pending audit.
right.
I mean, what they show says I have $58,000, but
And that's what she did tell me last night.
I wouldn't think that'd be different. But
And the actual price in these that I handed out on the second page, that's a cash disbursement report, and that actually shows you how much you'll actually spend. You can see our budget there, and then the CDBG, which is the grant portion. Well, we're actually under budget with this ambulance, so if you look on that local other expense, your expense that you'll have to pay is that $81,716.30. So, I mean, it is a little bit under. I mean, I know that doesn't make a difference, but it's a little bit under that. So that's the amount that you guys need to come up with.
Okay.
I know budget's hard, but I mean, this is a great deal, and this program might not be able. I don't know if you've been
Right.
reading the news; it might not be around. And
That's
that's
about $5,000 difference.
yeah,
So we can't get in trouble. Do you mind waiting on your 10,000?
my admin is actually all from the state. We actually portion all of ours on the grant side. So,
Okay, so what do you actually need from us today?
that first page, that disbursement or that request for payment, I need a motion for you guys to approve the $110,877.97 drawdown from the state of Kansas. Now with that, if you approve that, then I would need 2 signatures. Scott, did you get this one?
Yes.
So I will need this filled out too, since we have pretty much new commissioners and new clerk. So each of you can fill out, and then the chairman needs to sign on the bottom.
Yeah, go to the bottom.
Okay. Did you get, yeah, you got it.
So then with this, If this is approved and I get the motion today, I'll go ahead and send this to the state as soon as I get back to the office. Usually it takes 5 to 7 days for them to get the money in your account. We already did the financial management at the very beginning, and I'll let you look over this spot to make sure you still have the same bank account. If so, that money will be deposited in your bank account. Once it's in there, we have 3 working days to write a check. That doesn't mean the check has to go out. It just has to be written.
Issued.
So the ambulance is scheduled to come on the 31st, correct? And at that time, he will want a check. So, and that $110,000 will be in your account. And then whenever you receive that, you can just send a check to our office. We will come out on June 6th. The state wants to come out, look through the files that you guys have. I'm going to make sure everything's in there so we don't have any red flags or
I'm gonna
anything.
say right now, there's nothing, I have nothing
Okay.
on this
Okay. So I
that I've
might.
been able to find.
Yeah, you do. You can carry my copy.
So I'm gonna be calling you a lot because you should have a lot. So, and because you don't have anything, we might get a flag on the state. Because I mean, documents should have been sent throughout this whole process. I do have copies of some, but I don't have originals because they should be kept here. So, unfortunately, that's just something. But the state will come out June 6th, look through all those files, and then make sure our ambulance, and then we can close out this project. CDBG, the block grant program, it's a great program to work with. There's lots of rules and regulations. But, I mean, if you can get 50% of funding, that really helps communities out a lot. So, do you guys have any questions for me on this project at all?
I guess I just need a direction what we're doing.
Okay,
Are we gonna write a check today?
well, we're gonna do this drawdown, and the state of Kansas is gonna send us a check for $110,000. On the 31st,
Yeah.
they're gonna deliver the ambulance. That's when they're gonna want their check for,
For the total amount
Total
on the
amount.
second.
That is correct.
Wonderful. That total amount, I have that bill in there.
right,
It's in your guys'
for
packets.
$183,864. So as far as today, all we need is a motion to go ahead and approve this drawdown for payment of CDBG funds from the state of Kansas.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, because we can't afford to overlook $110,000 from state.
Well, and then your chances of ever getting it again
Yeah,
probably go
right.
clear down.
Right, let's take advantage of it when we got it.
Not in this state.
Okay,
But then
yeah.
they might not be there anyway, so.
So
So,
they can each sign on those top ones, and then I'll have Scott sign one, and you sign the other, and then you sign the bottom.
I'll send it that way then. And this one?
Where am I
Oh, you
signing
have the
this
original?
thing?
Yeah, I just
In the
need you
middle
to
there.
sign on the top there.
One of those 4 in the middle.
and then Scott, I'll create a voucher for that whole amount today and just leave the account number blank. And then you guys can fill in where the money's coming from. Because with it being here the 31st, you guys sign checks in the morning, right? Of commissioner meetings. So I could just come up there. They won't be here by 9 o'clock. I can just get the check then, the 31st at work. Okay.
Because we'll
I know, just write him a personal check.
Yeah, gee.
have commission meeting also around the 31st.
Should be that.
And then to close out this project, we will have to hold a public hearing just saying we did this project, and I have to publish it in the paper. So after the monitoring's done and everything, if we have any deficiencies, that's the time I can come in. Most everything's fixable. They just put a little check mark by your name in the state's eyes. So
Well, this is not near as complicated as I was anticipating.
I hope not. We try to make everything easy. You're actually a member of our organization, so we do this every year. If you guys ever need anything or interested, if your county or any cities in your county are interested, that's what we do. So we actually write applications for free and then just budget our administration to carry out the project.
We want all we're entitled to.
Keep applying. And is it about 50-50? Is that what? they are?
50-50 is what they want to see. Actually, the minimum is 25% that you have to put in, but that's going to get you less points in the rating system, so you want to put in 50%. Just helps. Can I have you sign on that one too?
Oh, two of them?
Yeah, two. You're important.
And since we had to survey for this, how
Right.
long is that survey good
Till
for?
the next census.
Okay.
So that survey is valid. So if you want to open it up countywide, you can just finish out the rest of your county, combine those two together, and we can do another project if you're interested.
Because the survey was kind of a big deal.
And we do,
Carol spent
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if you
time
guys
on it.
received, but we send out a newsletter every year of new deadlines and that kind of stuff, so. Do you know if you have a copy of the application by chance? Okay.
Or the bids.
Wow. You have bids?
I bet he didn't have bids.
I'm talking nothing. There's no file, there's nothing on the computer.
You got any of that stuff?
I mean, I got some of it, but I don't have bids. The bids came up here.
Yeah.
And I got an application, but
I'm guessing they're here somewhere. Or they're, so after the meeting today, we need to go.
I was going to say, do we need to have a...
We need to have a search shakedown.
I'll go look through all my emails, and I know I emailed a few things, but I just know like the original contract from him should. I don't even
When
have a
was the
copy.
time frame of this? When did this happen?
Let's see.
The bids were last fall,
Yeah.
and they would be in 3-ring binders. I think both of them came in 3-ring binders.
But you should have like public hearing notice, but from the bids, and I guess I can call the newspaper and see if I can get another original. But okay, I'll go through
You
my
remember
files
going
and come up
through?
with a list, and I'll just.
You remember the
communicate with
public
you.
hearing notice?
Yeah, if you'll create a list of what
Okay.
we actually need.
It's a lot. I'm sorry.
Do they need original stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think in here
Makes me
is,
wonder if Rodney doesn't have them.
like I'd have
He
that.
took a lot of stuff from me.
That doesn't matter, and then it's the actual
told
bids
me
and
that.
signatures.
And then there's the
that.
write-up from the
Wouldn't
newspaper.
Wouldn't hurt to ask him.
The original. Okay.
Yeah, original of everything. So.
Okay.
Okay, well, I will come up with a list, and once I come up, I will just be in contact with you. If it's okay, I'll come up and go through all brand new files for you
Not
guys.
only
and get
okay, we
everything.
insist on it.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, and I will send you a copy of what the state sends me back on this. So,
Thank you very
so
much.
much. I
Nice
appreciate
meeting you.
it. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
And I'm done too. The 31st, I will just, in their packet, I'll include EMS statistics for April, but I probably won't be here just to get the check because we'll have that ambulance unless
One
you have a
more
question.
thing.
Yeah.
What was the check for 6,000 for a lift? Well, let people in or out or what?
Was that two Stryker Flex Financial? That sounds right. So that's our annual payment. What I was talking about for the power load and the power gurneys.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that you finance them through Stryker and
Right.
that's our payment.
Right,
Okay.
right. If we decide to finance the monitors through Stryker, that payment would go up.
It was for a bundle with people in and out, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's a 5-year.
But I think so.
Sure.
Last week I looked at
Good, come on.
the legislative grants file. I know it's a bunch of different grants, but that was a lot even.
Okay. What was her name?
Justine.
That was her then.
Yeah.
So we're ready for Eric, wherever he's at.
Wondering where they're out of. Where are they out of?
Who?
Justine, where are they?
Topeka, I believe.
Sorry.
Oh, Hilson.
That's close to
Tomorrow, the
Topeka.
latest.
Yeah, they won't work halfway.
It won't.
Because I'm already going to be
Morning again. Just a few things quick. Generator, as you know, we got an issue there.
Is it fixable,
Yeah,
correctable?
I think it's undersized. I mean, it'll work.
You need more wattage, in other words.
Yeah. It will run dispatch, but if we're a week without power, it's not going to run the microwave, the stove, or not the stove, the refrigerator. If we're up here for a week and nobody in town has power, people get hungry. So, I mean, to me, it's an issue. I'd like to see something better, and I just talked to Justine about that project, and she said that's very doable. The amount of money that it would take, we'd need to come up with something else. So I mentioned windows, and she said depending on Historical Society, that is an option as well. So
Really?
that may be something we want to.
Yeah, keep on that.
The wind blows through these windows.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So
know.
I mean, if that's something that 50% is 50%. I mean,
Actually, there's a guy from Knip Services. He was supposed to be here last month, but he called me a couple of days ago, and he's coming on the 31st. He'll also want to look around, possibly give a bid.
okay. I will visit with Justine a little more. She was very positive about what little I talked to her in the hall there. So I guess for now, hope
For
and
now,
pray.
I think we're going to have to make do with what we have. As long as it keeps that 911 system up and operational, that's the basic.
The 911 system will work. It is on the generator. It will work. We'll answer that call. The admin lines probably won't last long.
Yeah.
I think we need to kind of see what the city's gonna do.
Yeah, and if we're relying on the city, I think we're in trouble. My opinion.
Well, I know they went to Denver on Monday to buy some replacement parts. And
I mean,
know
if they
they're
get their
working on it.
generators up and running, we're not gonna be down for a long time. You know, they've got, their generators are,
Unless it takes the lines in town, is the only thing.
Yeah, and that's the part that scares me is,
well, you're right. You guys are right, but
Yeah.
if you have a bad storm, people are gonna be way more concerned about coming up here and doing county business. As long
Monday.
as our 911 system runs, that is the important thing.
I looked out the window Monday when we were up here working on the power outage stuff, and Cody and I both saw several people walk up the steps, hit their nose on the door, and turn around and leave. So they wanted to do business.
Well, and we wanted them to do business. It just wasn't feasible. I mean, it wasn't a practical thing to do. Let's do some more research on this.
But most of the time, they're not gonna be walking up that door because there'll be a blizzard going on. You know, most of the time. That was a weird situation. We were without juice and we had nice weather,
Yeah, but Bird City had crap weather.
you know, and
I mean,
most of the time, people aren't gonna be walking upstairs and running into that door because they're not gonna get out.
it's the 5-day period that I would be concerned with. You know,
And
if
I
we're
think the
without power.
city's gonna have to probably address that.
And that's something else that, if we don't want to put money into a generator for this building, maybe we should be giving the city some money to fix theirs. So, that's something to think about too. All right.
Well, we can what if all these
Right.
situations.
That's
to death.
right.
I mean, we can be as prepared as anybody in the country and still have shortfalls.
Yeah.
This is just a risk, I think, for now, we're going to have to take. I mean,
What is the possibilities of, I know in the past, like Rawlins County got a generator for the whole courthouse through the Homeland Security grant.
They don't do that
the
anymore.
Homeland Security's money is pretty much all dried up.
But I mean, what's the chances of, if we were to find other funding sources like a grant or something, even though I'm not highly optimistic we will.
I just
but
found one in the hallway. Yeah. I mean, she's very optimistic.
What is the chance of coming down and revisiting if we found some other funding sources?
I also talked to Prairie Land about that revolving thing that they did for the grandstands at the fairboard, or the fairgrounds. They said they still do that, so. It's another source of money.
Because at the
I mean,
end of
it's
the
a
day, like I said,
payback, but
it's not a necessity. I understand where you guys are coming from, necessity. But I would like to see the whole courthouse have it, but I'd like to also have enough leg that when the power's off or we have a storm, the sheriff's office doesn't go home, we're here. I'd like to have power in the sheriff's office as well for us to be able to work and do things. If we have to type up an affidavit in the middle of a snowstorm, then obviously we could scoot a dispatcher off their seat and use their computer real quick. But, best case scenario, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Dreamland would be able to get the sheriff's office on something too.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead and research whatever funds are available, see how practical they really are or how they'll apply to our situation, and we'll revisit it. But for now, I think as long as we keep that, to my priority is just keeping that 911 going.
And like you said, if you have that, you have a lot.
Yeah. Because that's the basic service that we owe these people. I mean, that we're here to provide them. To keep a deputy warm, yeah.
I'm not worried about keeping them warm.
Okay.
I'm worried about being able to, we arrest somebody or we do something.
Well, I think you can adapt and overcome and make it through it okay.
We do, but I'm talking about making things nicer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not selling.
I know you could.
I'd be looking at the bigger picture of not sending everybody home for 5 days. I mean, that's costly, very costly to the county. I mean, the loss in that would be, I'd hate to think that it wouldn't pay for a generator.
Here's a question I'd like for you to ask. Contact somebody in Rollins County and see how many times they've actually used that thing. Mm-hmm. And if it has been a benefit or a positive thing, whether it's been worthwhile or... I'd like to hear their response to that.
Okay.
And we'll do some research on some other revenue sources if you guys would be open if we came out with other revenue sources. I just didn't want to put a whole bunch of time into chasing down other.
Well, I'm a practical guy. I mean,
right.
if it's a practical and viable option, who knows?
What I have noticed, if you start getting grants or whatever, then all of a sudden FEMA steps in or somebody of that nature. And sometimes I watch when FEMA makes you buy a generator, it costs 3 times more than just buying the generator.
Right.
And I agree with that, Roger.
I've watched the one they put up at the EMS that was through FEMA. Why, you can buy that generator for $6,000, and I bet it costs $40 to $50 to put that in up there. It's amazing. It's going to meet all the specs.
And I don't apply for certain grants just because of that. Sometimes when I read the requirements, I'm like, this is not going to be cost beneficial to us. So.
Well, I'm really disappointed in this generator that we did buy a few years ago. It hasn't performed like it should. Because there were several times that it didn't even come on. Come to find out, it wasn't wired up correctly. And but it has been operating recently.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's got 78 hours on it right now. I did have them come. Hitchcock's came and changed oil in it after that storm. I felt that was something that probably ought to be done. It hadn't been done since new,
Okay.
which surprised me. So,
Worst of it is I hate to think how big a generator you got to have to run this place.
You can get a good idea of what they have in Rollins County, if it works.
take 100 kW to run this building.
And if I remember right, when they got that, because I actually did the audit on that thing, and it was 48,000 something.
They've come down a lot. I can attest to that. Generators have gotten a lot cheaper. Technology's helped a bunch. So, we'll do some more research.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable plan.
The security part that we've approved for that door down there, we're still mitigating a little about what we're doing with those 2 doors and how we're going to get that overcome. But I haven't heard anything for a couple days, so I'll visit with Nate or Tom from Dependable Glass was going to do the door work, I think. So we'll kind of figure out what's going on there. It's just an update. Scott and I have had a lot of questions about Facebook on this floor. Got any comments?
Let's catch these guys up on what's taking place.
Carol Sloper sent out an email to department heads. We didn't receive one. Eric
I did not.
That said that, because we have a county Facebook page. So that I think it's just her that updated, put stuff.
Yeah.
in.
I think so.
She sent it out to all the department heads that she put Eric and I as administrators and all the department heads as editors. And then we had a department head pretty much demanding Facebook, access to Facebook. And talked to Eric. I think there needs to be 2 people. Eric doesn't want anything to do with it, but he could be a backup. I think everything needs to come through my office that gets put on there. And I don't feel anybody needs access to Facebook.
I agree with that, because the dissemination of information should come from one location. And Facebook, I don't even know anything about Facebook, because I don't have it, I don't want it, and I'm not going to get it. But I do know it's created problems in governmental business. Things get put on there that are not correct,
That open us up to legal liability.
Right. And they're more of an opinion, they're not a fact.
Right.
So I am totally against anybody but one person. If we're going to maintain a Facebook page, I'd like to see everything go through an individual.
Do we need to even have a Facebook page?
Don't need it.
Oh, I think in this day and age, having a Facebook page to share information to the
It
public
is an asset. Dispatch has one, sheriff's office has one. They have a purpose.
You can get information out instantly.
They are, if they're used properly
Yes.
with the proper constraints, they are an asset. And
I just don't want,
I mean, we're talking like putting out announcements, second half taxes need to be.
Yeah. it's not a
I
daily
can see that, but
update.
what made her think that all the department
I
heads
don't know.
needed to have access to this?
And that's what I emailed her back. I wish she would have talked to me before she did that. But we've taken everybody off, but
Yeah.
Eric and I.
Well, I think it needs to remain that way.
You're good with that?
I don't have Facebook, so.
I don't either. Like I say, I don't even know what it looks like. But I do know it has created a huge amount of problems for
It can be a bad thing
Yeah.
in a hurry. So,
Misinformation or bad information is a terrible thing.
If it's on the internet, it's gotta be true.
Yeah.
What you see in the commercial.
Well, I know. I hear people talking about it all the time. Do you see that on Facebook? I'm like, no, I didn't. And number one, it's none of my business, and number two, I don't care to know that stuff.
so we're in agreement that Scott should be the
Yeah.
center point for posting on that page?
Absolutely, as
Okay.
far as I'm concerned.
That sounds great to me. And if he's not available, I can do it as a backup. That should redundancy. So that brings up another point about laptops. Cybersecurity has gotten, this week has just blown up. Laptops going home are concerning me a little. If they go home, I don't know what that laptop does on a private network at a home and then comes back and plugs into our network. I just wanted you to be aware that that could be an issue.
How many do we have out there that are county owned? Let me back up. Do we have some individuals that are bringing their personal laptops and then getting on our system
I believe so.
for business purposes or just
I think so.
entertainment?
No, I don't think it's pleasure. I think it's work. I'd hope it's work.
I guess I'm a little confused. Why would you bring your personal laptop to work?
That I don't know.
But you think we have people doing that?
Yeah, from what I've seen on the network, there's some stuff showing up that doesn't look like our stuff on our network. Yeah, I haven't sat there and drilled down on it and tried to figure it out yet, but
Okay, on the other hand, how many laptops do we have leaving the building?
you take yours home.
Once in a while.
Yeah. But are
I
you?
took it to the meeting.
But you're not sitting there on a network. I mean, you're using it to do some work stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going with the sheriff's office allowed to take one home without checking it out, or.
I think there's
let's say
4.
Train wants to take one.
I mean, the only thing I do is on CDC.
Yeah. So you're VPN into their network, so that's fairly safe. Treasurer's office has one. Sheriff's office has one. I think the appraiser's office has one.
Is your concern downloading viruses?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bringing something from the outside world into our network and not passing through our firewall.
What sort of virus protection do we have on those laptops right now?
Minimal. We're not paying for much. Mostly free stuff, and because of the price of a decent antivirus,
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I know. But
I think the last time I priced it,
and then when people are taking those, are they VPN into our network from home, or are they taking their?
the CIC stuff would VPN to CIC's network.
Okay, but there's not a VPN for people to work with laptops
I don't let
into
any.
our network.
The only VPNs I allow into our network here are from Dave's shop and EMS,
Okay.
and that's just for the phone system.
Has there been a specific security concern that? And before we discuss that, I will say if we're discussing security issues, we can't go into executive session for that. So.
I don't think it's warranted. There's no specific issue, just the amount of emails I've gotten in the last week about cybersecurity has blown up. The one yesterday, for hospitals especially, was pretty scary. Yeah.
Yes.
And at my clerk's conference, the Secretary of State's office was very concerned with security of the voting. They said they are getting hit daily. People trying to hack them.
Yeah, it's
And they're coming out with a new rules on security. Luckily, we have firewall. That's one thing they were going to demand, I think.
We
Well,
don't
see,
have a policy
we
for
don't.
the use of.
We really don't have any policy on that. And like I say, I'm not picking on anybody, you or any of the other 3. It just concerns me that maybe we're opening ourselves up a little there. So,
Do we need to increase like your antivirus thing?
well,
Pay for something better than what we're getting?
I mean,
that would be good.
I
I'd
will
like to
say
see
I'm
a
having
monitor.
2 thoughts here. One, I will say, being a business owner, and this is kind of my life, you got to pay for it. It's just the reality of it. And let me tell you, it has saved me big time, a couple times. 2, though, I do think we probably, I know people are getting tired of adopting policies, but we have policies for a reason. I wonder if we need to adopt a policy if people are going to use county-owned equipment, computer equipment outside of our network, and have them sign off on it. So at the very least, we're educating them. Do you see what I'm saying?
And if they do so, they have to have said antivirus on the machine.
Yes.
On their, okay, I got lost again. You're talking about the machines that we already own.
Or I would say, on the other hand, if someone is going to connect a personal computer to our network, they have to have the appropriate antivirus on there. I think it's twofold. We need a policy regarding handling county-owned computer equipment, but also a policy for county employees who are using personal computers to connect to our network. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So can't we just stop personal computers?
Well, that was my question.
Why do we have to let
why do they
personal
need to
computers
bring
come in?
those in?
They don't. I don't think.
I don't know who's doing that or for what purpose. I mean, because when I connect, aren't I connecting just to the public one?
I don't know what you're connecting to.
I'm just connecting to the Wi-Fi. I'm not connecting to the network or anything, right?
I think you are on the secure side.
Okay,
I don't think you're on the public.
okay,
I think we put you actually on the sheriff's side.
okay.
So,
We just might, again, I think considering antivirus at the very least on the county-owned stuff, and then can you look into some of the other counties and see if they have like a computer policy?
Yeah,
Farm around and see if we can pull something from other counties that we like.
sure. Yeah, I have brought,
Remember when they said that computers was gonna save the world and make everything easy?
Can make it easy on them.
previous board, I'd brought some antivirus stuff. I can bring some again.
Well, it's to the point now where we better start preparing a little bit, especially with this ransomware and everything that's going on now. I can't imagine that Cheyenne County is a huge target for cybercrime, but you never know, I guess.
It's possible.
Like
Yeah.
he thought, I never thought about the voting thing.
Yeah, that's,
And they said you will get.
if you want to
Well,
Yeah,
have a
or,
voting booth, you're going
I
to
mean,
play by our
think,
rules.
You
think
will get
about
hit.
if we had
They
our
will try.
if we had our financial records compromised. I mean, that could be
Oh, sure.
huge.
Were they going to set some guidelines soon? Maybe we should wait and see what the state of Kansas is going to recommend.
Is it just going to be firewall policy or?
I got a sheet. I
Okay.
wouldn't go over
Yeah,
it,
you can
but
share that.
It wasn't anything set in stone yet.
Because here's what I'd be afraid of. We go ahead and purchase some kind of malware, virus protection or something, and to find out it's not compatible with what the state of Kansas
Well,
wants.
they said the only time, nothing has been hacked yet, and shouldn't be, but the only time that there's a chance of something, of them getting in is election night when you get on the internet to update your totals too. That's when there can be an attack.
Oh,
Okay. Well, there's an easy solution for that. They'll just have to implement it.
But they're also, passwords and everything else.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's just get some more information on what we need.
I think that pretty well covers me. I just need a little direction on what you want to do there, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Dave.
guys.
Dave, can we take a 5-minute break before we start? Thank you.
hey, Coach.